once again, I know you guys can't hear me, but I just want to say this real quick because I really want to get this off my chest. So, a video that just came back right now, and it's like my father, like I told y'all, he got deported, and like he basically called, right? My mom called us all to come talk to him on the speakerphone or her cell phone, and it's crazy because like my sister lived in Vegas, I lived in Austin. My brother works night shift. My little brother, he goes out, does stuff too, makes YouTube videos. He does bodybuilding. He works at HEB. My sister, he also, trying to get a degree as a nurse. Vice versa for my little sister. She, is a manager at Walgreens. She, has friends, goes out, trying to get a degree, the doctor and whatnot. It's just ironic, that we all were in the house. Even my nephew, even my older brother's son was here, and we all were here at the same time. And my dad called, and we all were in a circle, almost like a prayer circle. And we were just listening to him talk. But I'm like, and it was very heart wrenching because he's been in prison for like 20 years, and just hearing him, cry and kind of just talk about his perspective on his situation, and just to hear him basically trying to tell us trying to tell us to basically do things to basically make our lives better. So uh it's really ironic, because like I don't know, he was talking to us, and it was just weird to see my little brother, my little sister, of course she's the youngest, she busted out crying first, you know um because I mean, I would say that my older brother was like 18, and we're all 2 years apart. So you can already imagine. There's five of us. That's like two times five. So my little sister was probably like 8 years old. When she lost her father. I was like 14, 15. You get what I'm saying? So it's not many deep things, but it's just crazy because like my dad was talking to us and he was telling us, he was kind of scolding my older sister because she's kind of, like I said, in Vegas. She's a flight attendant. She only dates white guys, and sometimes black guys too. Us being Nigerian, because he got deported to Nigeria. Luckily, he's there. He's kind of homeless, but he's living with my mom's side of the family back over there because his side of the family doesn't really live there. Even though they own land, they're not really living there. So he can't go to the land, and just like start making decisions because he doesn't really own it. It's part of his family's land, and they've already rented it out to people. So there's like a landlord that lives there and it has land. Sorry, that is the landlord. In so many words, and there's tenants there, so you know how that goes. So it's just a really weird perspective because, like, I just kind of felt like some different things. Like, my dad was trying to basically tell me, like, that I need to be, I need to basically go back to college, get an education, you know, um, stop run away from the house and the family, you know, like I did when I was in Austin and whatnot. And I get that. Don't get me wrong. I'm mature enough to swallow that pill, but I don't. That's how to explain. But it's like, to me, I'm thinking like, whatever, dude. My mind thinking whatever because it's just like, even though I'm like, I want to take what he's saying. It's just like, it is what it is. Like only thing I did that was wrong. And it's like, did I do anything wrong? Did I actually do anything wrong? Like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. The reason why I quit the job because I fear for my life because a whole bunch of homophobes. You know, that's like duh. Like, if you live in a black town and the KKK come through and they tear shit up and you fear for your life, you're gonna leave. And if you end up like going, leaving and it being poor somewhere else, that's because that's what they tried to do. They tried to scare you off and they did that shit. So it's like, what can you say? Like, either that or I get into a gunfight and I ain't got a gun. So it's just kind of things like that. Like, what? And then, like, he was kind of like, getting on me about being homeless and shit and How he's like, people, they get killed out there and shit. And I'm thinking like, and that really kind of pissed me off because there's no respect, and I don't mean respect like in fear, like somebody's better, like, like to a child, to an adult respect. I'm just meaning the level of like, dude, I'm a grown ass human being. I've been homeless many times. I've been out in the streets. I sold drugs. I did drugs. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the hood. You know how it is, like boys in the hood, or don't be a menace. Don't be a menace. You know what I'm saying, to society. That type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been out in the streets. I've been that motherfucker. I know the street code. I know the game. And so for him to not like understand that pisses me off, and then it makes me annoyed too because it's not that I'm like just like that. If that makes sense. It's not like that was that situation. Like I became homeless. Like people become homeless. They have a job. The company doesn't give a fuck about them because they're entry level, so they're at the bottom. They get fired, and the way the economy works, we went through high inflation. It's like my family acts like I'm the only person that went through that shit. Like I've never seen that. Like just being honest, it's like the streets was full of people. There was so much homelessness I ain't never seen in my life. Let's be real. The government's trying to kill people. Not the U.S. government, but the world government. The New World Order, all this shit. It's going down. Super hot, super cold winters. I mean, the winters since 2020, right? They're using this HAARP, they're controlling the weather. I mean, they've been trying to do this shit. I mean, this makes no sense. 2020, 2020 vision, seeing the signs, especially people talk about these type of things. It's like, dude, it's really annoying and frustrating to deal with it because this, for a fact, like, bro, COVID happened. They created COVID. They tried to kill off a lot of people. I mean, Bill Gates talked about this. They're going through eugenics. They're going to kill off a lot of people because they just don't need them anymore. The people at the top they'd rather have robots. Robots are better than humans. And so there's a lot of humans that they just don't need anymore. That's just the reality of it. That is just the reality of it. So they're going to kill a lot of people. And if people are not psyched up to this, they're not going to be able to survive. I mean, they've known this since like the late 80s. That if you don't know how to program a computer or work on a computer, then you're going to be fucked in the future. And then here we are now. 40 years later, what do you think is happening? I digress. And so, that's why it's really, Houston's a working class city. We don't need the working class anymore. The middle class is shortly but surely dying off. Period. They don't need manual labor jobs people anymore. They barely got that now. Everything's automated. It's just not, so you have to look at the world for what it is. And if let's say you're falling behind, or you just are behind, you're not gonna have a good life. It's like, if you really can't afford college, you're not going to college, baby. It's that plain and simple. You're not going to get a high-paying job. It is what it is. It's not, my will, my ambition, my strength, and my fucking sucking up to God and thinking God's going to do it for me. That's why a lot of people don't believe in God, because it's like things like that. Like people that believe in God, the way they use God is very disgusting. It's like they can't cope with reality, And I know this is like very like intense. Don't get me wrong. You were in prison. You went to America. You know what I'm saying? You went to prison for like 20 years. You got out. They deported you. Now you're back in your old country. You missed all your kids growing up and everything, and your grandchild being born and all this. I get that, but I just feel like it's not something that I feel like it's not something that you should be like, no offense, but a bitch about. He's all crying and shit. I'm like, I understand why he's crying, I get it. It's fucked up. Life is fucked up like that. But it's like they don't understand. I've been homeless. I know how it is. I know life is fucked. It can be fucked up. Period. He's in the situation I'm in right now. Like, we're in the same situation. I was fucking homeless too, on the streets. He's telling me, oh, people are killing people. I know they kill people out here. You think I just walking through, like, come on now. It's like, you think it's a game? You think I wanted to be on the streets? You think I'm on the streets like, oh, I just love being homeless. I don't get to do anything. I get to just take in the trash and eat out of the trash for free. Like, fuck out of here. Like how? So that's what kind of disgusts me. I think about Black family and why, even though I love my family at times, and I hate them. You know, I love and hate them, but like realistically, I know I love them because they're pretending. It's the act. It's like we're family. We're supposed to love each other, so we love each other. But in reality, as a person, as individuals, I don't like these motherfuckers, and I don't like that fuck that liarness, that fakeness. When they come together, it's kind of obvious because it's just too fucking fake. It gets delusional because we get to like lie to each other, you know what I'm saying, and pretend and all this shit. And so it's like it's a weird pretending situation. It's like I'm your father, I'm gonna tell you what to do, but it's like, but bro, what the fuck, Like I've been homeless, you know what I'm saying? I've been out there. I had to sleep behind buildings and shit to make sure I'm not out on the streets. Like I'm sitting here. I remember literally when I was in Austin, when I first became homeless. I just walked around the streets for fucking like days. It's a very tight city. It's not like loose like that. So it's like every corner you go around, somebody's there. I didn't shit for like 3 days because I just didn't know where to shit. They're locking restrooms now in these fast food restaurants and public restrooms. They locked fucking libraries. I remember when I came back to Houston and I was homeless and I'm trying to go to the public library one day afternoon because it was going to rain really bad and I didn't know where to go. And they locked the library. And the girl was standing out there like, why did they lock the library? She's looking at me like, why did they lock the library? It's a public library. I'm like, this is what they're doing now. You start off with COVID. After COVID was over and shit, what do? People still sitting here were like having their fast food restaurants and lock them hoes because they don't want people to come in. They don't want people to come in because they realize how much money they saved on toilet paper. They realize how much money they saved on refills. You get what I'm saying? On lights and shit, on the music. They didn't have to fucking pay for all that shit anymore, so it saved them money. You get what I'm saying? And people it was a recession, if you will. People that lost their jobs and all that type of shit. Companies that were started fucked up. Like a lot of shit happened. And my family just acts like that literally is not why my life is fucked up. Like it's not, like I wasn't a part of that shit. Like you weren't a part of the fucking 2020 COVID situation where people lost jobs and all this type of shit. No, there's no such thing as inflation. They really act like that shit, bro. And it's like ridiculous. And it's like to me, it's annoying because like my little brother. I was talking to him just to see how he felt because he was crying a little bit too. And then he was like, "Oh, God, it's God, bring us all together. It's like, it's like it's spiritual, And I'm thinking in my mind, like, man, I get that. It's like, wow, it's almost like shocking to see. But it's like 12 years of fucking slave. Why was he a slave? No offense to white people, just saying, why was he a fucking slave? Because the white man enslaved niggas, like enslaved black people. You know what I'm saying? you feel what I'm saying? It's kind of ridiculous. It's like, what do you mean? The reason why we're all here is because inflation hit. My sister fucking had to her work, work for the airport now. She leveled up, but the airport. Why is she here? Why does she have her own place? It's because she's moving town to town on a plane. Then she's gonna have to come home sometimes. You get what I'm saying? Because she had nowhere to stay. Because bills is high. She can't. Renting an apartment right now is dumb. You have to have real estate, car. You know what I'm saying? A boat, mobile home, or fucking a stationary home. That's what's gonna make you some money. That's gonna keep you wealthy at this time and get you through this recession we're going through. But the inflation, anything that's like temporary, like jobs, apartments, rental, car payments, is not gonna fucking do it unless you have a high income. That's real. That's reality. That's the situation that we live to. We have to pay to live to these motherfuckers. We got to pay higher people of power money to live because they're saying, fuck you. You were born into this shit and you can try to find a way out, but you have to deal with your everyday situation. And that's what we're dealing with. That's life. So don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here like, my dad's like, man, just tries. I know, we came from a poor country. My dad and my mom came from a poor country, so he had to do what he had to do. He didn't come in with no skills, and to get a house to take care of his kids. Of course, if you had a way to scam the government and make some money, you can get away with it. Of course, I mean, don't get me wrong, he didn't get caught up. He got snitched. Somebody snitched on him, and so that's what I'm saying. It's like Yeah, okay, I get that. But motherfucker, that's life. You did a crime. You did a federal fucking crime. Like, what the fuck? That's not my situation. Like, motherfuckers tried to kill me because I'm different. I'm intelligent. The fuck? Motherfuckers really be hating out here. And he's all telling us, like, oh, you can't trust people out here. People are fucked up. They're evil. Yeah, motherfucker, I know people are fucking assholes. I'm from fucking Houston, Texas. Southwest side of Houston, Texas, motherfucker. You don't think I don't know people are fucking crazy motherfucking assholes? You don't think I haven't? I mean, nigga, come on now. You don't think when I every time I mean, come on now. You know what I'm talking about. You bought some. First of all, the South is like it's very old school when it comes to the weed shit. So motherfuckers is treating that shit like it's cocaine and heroin. So you gonna fucking buy an ounce of weed because you're a weed head and you want to keep weed for the next 3 months and shit. So you go buy a fucking 3 ounces or some shit from a motherfucker. He pulling out the QP bag and he already got choppers in the motherfucking living room, dogs barking and shit. I've had guns pointed in my face. I know motherfuckers is killers and shit. The fuck? That's what I'm saying. It's like you talking to me like I don't know shit. You get what I'm saying? Even my little brother was talking about something like, oh, smoking weed. Because I was smoking weed in the car and I felt like, this is kind of stupid because I'm not a rapper. I'm not living that good life. I'm like, bro, what do you mean we're living the good life? He's like, he's one of them people he's trying to mature and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, whatever, bro. I still smoke weed. Like, it's not a big deal, bro. It's just fucking weed. If you can smoke weed, then do it. If you have a good job, don't do it. It's that fucking plain and simple. But they make it this, oh, God don't want me to do that. And it's childish to smoke weed. They make that shit into something that's not. It's some caricature. Like, for real, for real. And it's annoying. And that's how a lot of fucking pieces of shit, these regular motherfucking, these average Joe, these okie dokie motherfucking people are. And I can't fuck with that. Like, I can't respect it. It's not respectable. It's like, okay, it is what it is. So I'm very, very indifferent about those type of topics. It's like my sister. I remember I used to live with her ex-boyfriend because he needed a roommate. He was telling me about her, and he was like, oh, how she, she was very intelligent because she was atheist. You know what I'm saying? When we were younger, and our teenagers and young adults, you know what I'm saying? She was like an atheist. And then all of a sudden, she broke up with him. He wasn't supporting her, so she had to move back to her mom's house. And then what I'm saying, she's in here struggling. Now all of a sudden, she's a newborn Christian. Fuck out of here. It's like she's just trying to please to the masses, please to the powers that be. And then that God, when people say God, a lot of times, I don't think they really mean like God. I just think they mean either coincidence, or not right now, King. Not right now. You need to leave. Not right now. No, I'm talking. Not right now. Not right now. Give me a second. Give me a second. You know. Where was that? Dang. So yeah, she was really an atheist. But now, what I'm saying, she's like a more Christian and shit. She's just pleasing to the masses and pleasing to the higher powers and shit. And then it's weird how that religion shit, it's just weird because it's like you kind of play dumb. It's like, what the fuck it is. Do you really? It's like, bro, and as I get it because we were raised on it, it's like, oh, this is a sign. And it's like, and I get it. It's almost like just a way of thinking, to be honest, which is okay. But there's something about it that makes you ignorant. It's like you don't want to know the realities, of the situation. It's not that God literally motherfucker. And that's the problem. I can say God bring us together because I know what that means to a certain degree. It's just basically saying it's coincidence. But they really think this motherfucker bring us together. And it's like, man, fuck us. We ain't shit. We ain't shit. Nobody's shit. You get what I'm saying? That's why the powers that be treat you like shit, because they know they ain't shit. And they know you ain't shit. It's some juice shit. Tupac shit. You feel me? So, I mean, that's why I don't understand, like, all that shit. And it kind of disgusts me because now, more and more, I don't know what it is, but people really always talk about God. In my surroundings, all I'm getting is people talking about God and God. And I feel like, man, fuck that God shit. That shit is fake as fuck. And you are a fucking dumb motherfucker for believing in God. And it's weird for me because I still fucking believe in psychic abilities. I still have like a psychic ability where I get these sensations, and when I ask, myself, you know, what's this and what's that, or try to inquire things in my mind, and I get these psychic fucking physical sensations, I'm usually right. Period. It just is what it is. So I believe those things. You know what I'm saying? Not right now, Hakeem. Not right now. Not right now. You don't even know what I'm about to say. Can you leave right now? I'm making a video. Can you leave? Leave. Leave. This boy don't listen. Next time he come in here, I'm gonna whoop his ass. He don't play. He plays. This is what I'm saying. He played too much. So you know what I'm saying? Like I still believe in those things because they work, but at the same time, it's like I don't really know. And I was asking, the spirit, like, okay, like does God really exist? And it was like saying yes. And then I started to remember like the philosophies of like Bobby Hemming and shit, and like basically the devil is God. And so then I started to remember the psychic readings, tarot card readings I was getting for this week and shit. And then later talking about the devil and how the devil's gonna stand out, and people are like basically trying to work with the devil, or they want to believe in the devil. If that makes sense, something like that. And I'm like, oh, the devil's my father. We all believe in him, and not just him. It's like all these people that are basically oppressors, people that do bad shit, and they know they do bad shit, but they want you to believe in them. You know what I'm saying? Like some Negan shit from like Walking Dead. Like they all knew Negan was a fucking asshole, crazy motherfucker, but they all followed him because there was somebody to follow. You get what I'm saying? And so there's no sense of accountability to your own mind. And I'm just kind of like, I just don't give a fuck anymore because like I'm not going to get emotionally invested by it anymore. And so I think there are a lot of atheists, because I'm trying to talk to more atheists now, just to have like a realistic perspective, because you're seeking the knowledge, and it's ironic because I feel like a lot of atheists are trying to prove God doesn't exist, and that's not important. I don't believe in God not existing or existing. That's irrelevant. We're not believing in God so we can believe in the facts. You get what I'm saying? And if you're not talking about the facts, what's the point? And I'm definitely not listening to religious people because they're just trying to justify their religion. You know what I'm saying? And the existence of God, which is irrelevant. I'm like Ragnar Lothbrok from Vikings and shit with the shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think it makes you atheist. Is like at the end of the day, it's like you come to the realization that you don't really believe in God because you believe in fucking facts. You believe in logic, and you don't justify things, using a philosophy. You know what I'm saying? That has nothing to do with this. Realistically, like you don't know that. You don't really know that God had your back. God didn't come up to you and tell you he had your back. You just thought this shit. It's a justification, And so that's why I'm kind of like, man, whatever. It is what it is. It don't change nothing. It don't make me. It really don't make me no different. You get what I'm saying? So I just want to get it out of my chest,